everybody. James here. Hope you can hear me on this video. Hope I got in a nice quiet area. Um, I'm outside and on this beautiful evening, and I wanted to make a video about a topic about business, and I'm gonna let you hear an audio about Dr. Boyce Watkins and Dr. Claude Anderson. And I'm going to chime in. I'm not going to play the whole video, but there's a lot of reference points to what's going on today, and I'll give you my opinion after this.
For contractors for the federal government, and they're not going to get that shot, which means that as corporations start excluding people who don't have the shot, it's going to exclude black folks from these jobs that they come to depend on. And that made me think about you, because you've always said anyway that we need to stop depending on jobs from other people anyway. That instead of just aiming for jobs, we need to build businesses and build industry. So I'd like to just start there and get your thoughts on the current political environment we're in and how this fits into a powernomics philosophy.
Well, it fits perfectly. The thing is that unfortunately we're real late, and hopefully not too late. Because I started stressing this way back in the 1960s in the Civil Rights Movement, that the worst thing you can do is keep depending on your enemy, or the people who are totally indifferent to you and would like to see you being removed. I told them back in 1960, at that time, we were trying to push integration. I told them that, I said, look, at that time was almost 98% of all the whites in America were totally opposed to freeing blacks as slaves. Now, almost 100 years later, by the 1960s, in over a 100-year period, the amount of hatred that whites felt for black folk and dependence and the need for black to want to be around black folk or have black folk in a mix with them, it decreased only 10% out of 100. It was down to 88%. That means that 88% of the white folk right now, they don't give a damn about black folk. I told blacks and told them that and told them, you keep depending on somebody that has no interest in you, period. And I told them that when in the Constitution, when the Constitution was ratified in 1789, 1 year later, first thing they did was pass an immigration and naturalization law, which says if we're going to be dependent on everybody, we'll bring in a management class and an ownership class into this country. That's why they started bringing in all these poor Europeans into this country. They came over here to be the owners of businesses and to be managers in those businesses. They didn't come over here to get jobs for black folk. Nobody is coming to America to get jobs for black folk. They're coming over here to compete with you. And I said, what you got to do as quickly as you can is go back and rebuild your own communities. Rebuild your own communities and build your own businesses. I said back in the 1950s, that's where you went wrong. When you started pushing social integration and trying to socially integrate black communities, you destroyed black communities. Whites outsmarted you. They took the Eisenhower Act of 1955 and used that to do social integration by coming up with a highway system. They used those highways to drive a highway through every black community in America, and with the intent of destroying them. They didn't drive them through the residential; they drove them through the heart of the black community. Make sure they took you out, and now you're dependent on them for food, clothes, everything you need. You got to go to a white business, either in an old black neighborhood, or you got to go to the suburbs. And black folk, you're totally dependent. I told them then. And see, and here we are now, almost exactly where we were at the end of the Civil War. Black folk right now, about 68% of all the black folk in America, they got some job on the government payroll, particularly the federal level. That's what they're doing on the payroll, 68%. Sitting on the government payroll, just like you out on a plantation or picking cotton. Instead of waiting on the master to come out and bring a ham bone or a corn cob for you to suck on to get your nourishment from it, because he ain't gonna feed you. He only allows $15 for a year to feed a black slave. And out of that 68% of black folk that are working in some level of government, federal, state, county government, or school teaching, you got about another 23% of the blacks in America are sitting up on the corporate payroll. We're working for white corporations. We haven't got any black businesses in the country, and so those 68% working strictly in white businesses. I mean, white government, and now another 23% is working someplace in white corporations, depending on a paycheck from them. You only got 2% of blacks in America working in their own communities, in their own business, for their own people. So they put themselves in a position of being wiped out and annihilated. And right now, that's on the schedule. And by the year 2040 or 2045, they plan on wiping black folks off the face of the earth. Because of all these other immigrants coming in here, as I told you, that 1890 immigration law, nationalization law, they're planning on constantly inputting those people into this country. A continuous inflow to replace you. You're down to nothing now. You're outnumbered 10 to 1. And again, you got these sorry Sambos working for the government around them, talking about we got to have a right to vote. Voting ain't worth a damn. Voting had no power in voting. You outnumbered 10 to 1, which means every vote you cast, you got your opponents or people against you who hate you and despise you. And 88% of white folks don't get you into reparations, anything. They want you to disappear off the face of the earth. And so right now, you didn't follow the things. I said the other option was get you a national black party and organize that, come together, get away from both political parties. The Democrats don't care about you, and the Republicans don't care, so Biden don't give a damn about you, just like Obama didn't give a damn about you. And you're still sitting there waiting on them to do something for you. I don't see very much hope. So this is 2021. And in 20 years, when all these immigrants coming in here from Afghanistan and from Asia, they're going to get together just like the Hispanics did. They're going to get together and surpass you. That's why Hispanics surpass you in the year 2000. Now where are you now? You're now an underclass. And these Asians and Arabs, they're going to get together and bind and make you not only third-class citizens, they're going to make...
Let me stop it right here. In Ohio, particularly in this city in Ohio, one of the major cities is Columbus, Ohio. Right now in Columbus, Ohio, you have what he's talking about is a vast majority community. If you go northwest, and I've done videos on this, you have certain communities out there. And I pointed this to a couple co-workers. And what out northwest, it's like Dublin, you got Upper Arlington in certain areas, Hilliard, and you got Liberty, and all in the areas out there. You have a lot of, second, third grade immigrant people who you can say that are probably from Middle Eastern countries, East Asian countries like your Indians, your Pakistanis, and just recently in Columbus you have influx of people from Nepal. You have an influx of people from other places like Somalia and different parts of Africa. And in turn with that, and I'll probably pull up the data or something like this. And this Ohio's one of the states, is one of the few states, but you have your major cities like your major cities like Dallas, Houston, and Los Angeles, and other cities, New York City, and Chicago, and they have a fluctuate of people. This is not about dividing people up. This video is not going to be about dividing. It's showing that there's a certain level of people that's still at the totem pole. And African Americans, out of naturalization of Americans who've been here for 500 years and generations, through that there's only a small segment, what he was saying, to have businesses. There's only 2%, and like he was saying, and majority of them is the government and he's right, but he's right about that. In Ohio alone, and others, and the other neighboring states, probably Indianapolis is the same way. In Indiana, you have Pennsylvania, and whether probably major cities like Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, and other places like this. But I just wanted to point out that, and it's all centered around political things. But I'm going to let him finish talking about it.
Make you fourth-class citizens. You haven't got a snowball's chance in hell unless you go back and start building communities immediately. Get out of both of these parties and start building communities. I can change the kind of industries to go into. What you should be doing and hire your own people. Quit letting these civil rights organizations saying, we're going to train you for a job. They don't need a job. They need money and wealth. It's too late. If you're going to get them a job, they had full-time employment doing slavery. What they need now is wealth, money. And the Biden administration going to give you anything. They've snowballed you already and used you to get into the office and have us mention the word black out of their mouths in 9 months. And so when this is September, so when November comes, that'll be a year. They haven't done a single thing for black folk. They're not going to do it for you. I'm sorry.
I was listening, and I know everybody's listening. And in case you just came in, I'm talking with Dr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Anderson is the author of the books Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth. In case y'all don't know, we're actually reading Black Labor, White Wealth right now in the book club. We are on page 62, and we are going paragraph by paragraph every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And so if you want to join that book club, it is something that is free from the Black Business School. You can register at blackkeystogreatness.com. That's blackkeystogreatness.com. Also, Dr. Anderson's website, where you can get his books and everything else, is powernomics.com. There's the URL. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Also, share this video because we need to build black-owned media. We need to develop infrastructure. Infrastructure is what allows you to fight system against system. You can't have individuals fighting systems. You can't have one-man black leadership. You must have structured institutional leadership, which means developing systems. It means developing businesses. It means developing institutes. It means developing all kinds of organizations, schools, all sorts of things that you have that allow you to have that infrastructure and processes that will allow you to fight back. So this media platform is part of that. So I hope that you will share this video and help us grow this platform because it's really important. So, and by the way, I want to say thank you to Black Mama. I see your donation. She says, much love, Dr. Boyce and Dr. Anderson. Well, we love you too. So and we're going to actually circle back around in terms of what America owes black folks. You know, because Dr. Anderson, you know, a lot of times we get into a cycle of looking at a Joe Biden and saying, okay, we all voted for you. You were pressuring, black folks were pressuring each other to go vote for Biden. You know, people were shaming each other. They were doing what I call voter shaming, where they were basically attacking them and saying, well, if you don't vote for Biden, then you must be a Trump supporter. Or if you don't vote, then you don't count, right? And that's abusive behavior. It's racist behavior. It is oppressive behavior. It is unacceptable behavior because you are infringing on another American's right to freedom of expression. So with that said, now that Biden's in office, we remember before the election that black folks had leverage. You had people like yourself that was talking to different